Raven and the Loon by Rachel and Sean Kitsulk Tinsley and illustrated by Kim Smith. The Raven and the Loon. There was Raven. There was Loon. Both were plain white. They were stuck without color. Raven hated anything boring, and without color he bored even himself. He flew back, he flew forth. Really, he was trying not to go crazy with boredom. Then he spotted Loon's igloo. Loon was sewing when Raven burst in. Nobody really liked Raven, but Loon was patient. Flying anywhere, Raven? Asked Loon politely. Back, forth, said Raven with a shrug. But now I'm here. I'll keep you company. As usual, Raven talked and talked. Loon sewed. She listened until Raven ran out of things to say. Bored, Raven pointed to Loon's sewing and said, I could do better than that. Loon grew angry at Raven's rudeness. Loon was about to shout at Raven, but then Raven suddenly said, Wait, I'm brilliant. I know what we can do for each other. I'll make a pretty coat for you, and you make one for me. Yes? Loon had to admit that her own coat bored her, so Raven took Loon's needle and her precious stone stamp. Raven used his magic. He dipped the needle in lamp soot. Sit still, he told Loon. Loon sat while Raven painted her with magic strokes. Wherever the needle touched her feathered coat, the soot left amazing patterns. I'm beautiful, cried Loon once the painting was done. She turned in a circle, loving her new coat. Raven was proud. He could not stop praising his own work. Loon took the needle. She made Raven sit. She knew she could do a better job if only Raven would be still. While Loon painted Raven, his mouth kept moving. She shushed him. He barely heard her. Worse, Raven jerked all over the place. How could Loon make her perfect pattern while silly Raven was so excited? For the 100th time, Raven jerked. The needle zigzagged. Loon's beautiful work was ruined. Loon became angry. You've ruined it, she yelled. Loon threw her lamp at Raven. The black soot covered him. Raven stood in shocked silence. From head to toe, he was black. Anger rose in him. Raven picked up Loon's stone lamp. He threw it at her feet. It hit Loon hard, mashed her feet completely flat. Grumbling and calling each other names, Raven and Loon left each other. But animals like that have long memories. To this day, ravens have kept their black feathers, and loons have kept their flat feet. Don't judge Raven and Loon too harshly. After all, none of us were there. What's said about them might just be gossip. At least Loon has her pretty feathers. At least Raven, well, he's never bored. Rachel and Sean write fiction and educational works that celebrate the secretive work of Arctic cosmology and shamanism. Of Inuit Cree ancestry, Rachel was born in a tent at the northernmost tip of Baffin Island. Raised as a boy, she learned Inuit survival lore from her father. Eventually, she survived residential school. Rachel specializes in archaic dialects and balances personal shamanic experience with a university education. She has published over 400 articles on culture and language, been shortlisted for several awards, and has enjoyed many years as a judge for Historica Canada's Indigenous Arts and Stories competition. In 2012, she was awarded the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal for contributions to Canadian culture. Sean is of Scottish Mohawk descent and learned a love of nature and stories from his father. He originally trained as an illustrator, but eventually discovered greater aptitude with words. his sci-fi work winning second place in the California-based Writers of the Future contest. Rachel and Sean sweepingly met at the Banff Center, Alberta, spending subsequent decades as Arctic researchers and consultants. Together, they have published about a dozen books as English originals, along with many shorter works. They are inspired by the imaginal intelligence of pre-colonial Arctic traditions, ancient Inuit, and now the extinct Tunit. Many such works are found in K-12 schools and universities across Canada and abroad. Their young adult novel of historical fiction, Scracklings, won second prize in the Governors General Literary Awards of 2014 and first prize for the Burt Award for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis Young Adult Literature of 2015. Kim. Kim has worked in magazines, advertising, animation, and children's gaming. She has now illustrated two books with Inhabit Media. She studied illustration at the Alberta College of Art and Design in Calgary, Alberta, where she currently resides.